I still vividly remember that night, gloomy, cold, and haunting. No matter how much I try to forget, it remains etched deep in my mind, like a knife carving into my flesh. I am Selena, 27 years old, currently working as a reporter for a prestigious newspaper. That night, I worked later than usual. When I left the office, the digital clock flickered, displaying 11:47 p.m. The streets were sparse, the streetlights flickering as if they were about to go out, leaving thick patches of darkness covering the road. I quickened my pace, feeling a vague sense of unease, though I wasn't sure why. Suddenly, I heard voices coming from the alley I had just passed.
Please, don't kill me. I won't tell anyone. Please.
I stopped in my tracks, slowly stepping toward the source of the voice, straining to hear what was happening. In the dim light, I saw a middle-aged man kneeling on the filthy ground, his trembling hands raised in a plea for mercy. Facing him stood a figure in a dark coat, his face hidden in the shadows. Then he pulled out a rope, looped it around the poor man's neck, and tightened it. His body thrashed violently before quickly going limp and collapsed onto the cold ground. No. I was frozen in place. As I instinctively stepped back, my foot accidentally kicked a glass bottle. The killer whipped around, his hollow, emotionless eyes locking onto mine. I turned and ran, my heart pounding violently in my chest. Footsteps thundered behind me, drawing closer. With trembling hands, I pulled out my phone, my fingers shaking as I dialed 911. There's a murderer. He's chasing me. I glanced back. He was gaining on me. Panicked, my heel caught on the uneven pavement, sending me tumbling forward. My phone flew from my grasp, skidding across the ground before cracking. I panted, my knee throbbing in pain, but I couldn't stop. With no other choice, I pushed myself up and limped forward, hoping the police could trace my call. I made a sharp turn into another alley, only to realize too late that I had run into a dead end. Trapped, I turned to face the killer. A smirk played at the corner of his lips.
Go on, run. Do you really think you can escape?
Stay back. I already called the police. I stepped backward, my hands fumbling behind me until they landed on a rusted metal rod. He lunged at me. I swung the rod, but he dodged effortlessly. With a swift move, he grabbed the rod, tossed it aside, and shoved me against the damp wall. I felt his cold hands wrap around my throat, tightening slowly, cutting off my air. I clawed at his arms, kicked frantically, my mind growing hazy. I couldn't die here.
Stop struggling. You're going to die.
Using the last of my strength, I lifted my knee and slammed it into his groin. He howled in pain and collapsed, his grip loosening. I hurriedly ran away. But after just a few steps, he had already lunged forward, grabbed my ankle, and sent me crashing to the ground.
You bitch, I'll kill you!
He staggered to his feet, raising the knife, his eyes bloodshot, his breath ragged like a wild beast. I couldn't die like this. I forced myself up and stumbled forward. Suddenly, a sharp, searing pain tore through my back. I froze, my body swaying. He wrenched the knife from my flesh, and the agony sent me crashing to my knees.
It's time to end this.
Please, don't kill me. I didn't see anything.
Too late. Anyone who sees me dies.
Just as I was about to surrender to the darkness, hurried footsteps echoed in the alley, growing closer. The killer stiffened, his knife poised mid-air, eyes darting toward the alley entrance. A few police officers, guns at the ready, were running toward me.
Drop your weapon.
The killer sprang to his feet, a manic glint in his eyes, and charged at the officers, knife in hand. A bullet pierced straight through his chest, the gunshot echoing loudly, shattering the silence. His body jerked, stumbling back before collapsing onto the cold pavement. Before I lost consciousness completely, I felt myself being lifted and rushed out of the alley. I woke up in a hospital bed, my throat dry and burning, each breath labored. A sharp pain radiated from my back, piercing through every fiber of my body when I tried to move. Sometime later, a police officer arrived to take my statement. He told me the killer had died that night. He had been hired to assassinate the middle-aged man due to a business dispute. In the following weeks, I returned to work. My wounds had healed, but the memories of that night still haunted me. Every time I passed that alley, I could still feel the chilling grip of fear wrapping around me.
Mary, a first-year journalism student, is 19 years old this year. Before, she was always an energetic and cheerful person with a bright smile on her face. However, after a major incident 2 years ago, Mary changed. She became more subdued, often sitting alone, rarely interacting with others. The story begins 2 years ago when Mary was 17 years old. Her father unexpectedly received a notice that he had to transfer to another province for work. Mary's family had just moved into this house to make it more convenient for her father's job.
Your room is on the second floor. I help you move your luggage.
This house is beautiful and spacious, isn't it, Mom? Oh, this room is beautiful!
This room isn't cleaned up yet. And this mirror, Mum, please call a worker to take it down later.
In the room, there was a large mirror hanging on the wall opposite the bed. This mirror had a brown wooden frame that looked very classic. But strangely, it also looked brand new, not a scratch on it. Mary walked over and smiled at her reflection in the mirror. Suddenly, she caught a glimpse of a shadow quickly passing by in the mirror. Startled, she looked closely again, but all she saw was her normal reflection. A strange feeling crept over her, but Mary didn't think much of it. Perhaps she was just fatigued after the long move and was seeing things.
No need, Mom. I think this mirror is still usable. Just leave it here, Mom.
All right, then I'll go to the kitchen to cook, and you clean up by yourself.
Mary walked up to the mirror and looked at it again. A strange feeling made it impossible for her to look away. She stood there silently for an unknown amount of time until her mother's voice echoed from outside the door.
Mary, have you finished cleaning up? Mary, what's wrong with you? Why haven't you cleaned up yet? I've already finished cooking.
I'm a bit tired.
During their first meal after moving to the new house, Mary's father suddenly said,
Mary, next year you'll be going to university. Focus on studying. Don't get too caught up in playing anymore.
I know, you don't need to worry about it. I can handle it myself.
I know your academic performance is good, but you can't be complacent. The university entrance exam is very difficult now.
You're talking too much. I'm going to my room.
That night, Mary was sleeping when she suddenly heard someone calling her.
Mary, 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 Mary. Mary, 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 Mary.
Mary looked at herself in the mirror with a tired face. She felt that the person in the mirror looked a bit different. She saw another girl resembling herself in the mirror, calling her name.
Mary, Mary.
Who are you? Why are you in my room?
I am you. You are me.
No! No way! You get out of my house!
Mary jumped up on the bed, gasping for breath. She looked around and realized she was still in her familiar room, with warm rays of sunlight filtering through the old window frame.
What is happening? Was it just a dream?
She looked at the mirror on the wall. It still lay there quietly. Nothing unusual.
It was just a nightmare.
Mary stood in front of the mirror, staring at her reflection. Suddenly, the image in the mirror changed, and she saw the girl from last night. Her face was pale, but her bloodshot eyes stared intently at her.
Wait! We meet again. Mary, you can't run away. We are one.
No! You're lying!
Can't you see? The two of us are one.
No! I can't be you! No way!
escape, Mary.
Stay away from me! Don't come near me!
Mary, we are one. You exist, so I exist too. If you disappear, I will disappear as well. Stab your hand, Mary. If you die, you won't see me anymore. Come on, Mary, just do it.
Hearing a loud noise coming from her room, Mary's parents hurried over. They were horrified by the scene before them.
Mary, what are you doing?
She's following me. She's really scary. You have to make her disappear.
Who is she? What's wrong with you?
She's here. She won't leave you alone.
Mary's father hurriedly took her to the hospital. Sitting on the hospital bed, Mary fearfully curled up in a corner, her mouth continuously mumbling.
Don't come near me. Don't come near me.
Her parents looked at their daughter's strange behavior and realized something was terribly wrong. The next morning, Mary's father invited a well-known fortune teller from the area.
Your daughter is being followed by a demon residing in the mirror. It is a spirit that has existed for hundreds of years. Although the mirror has been destroyed, the demon still lingers in this house.
What should we do to save our daughter now? Please help us.
I will pay any price you want, as long as you can save our daughter.
Wear this talisman. It will temporarily protect you. Tomorrow, I will come to perform a ritual to drive it away. But whether it will be successful or not still depends on your determination.
Mary, follow me. You will no longer have to be afraid.
Never! I will not let you have your way.
Mary, give me your hand. Only I can help you escape this fear.
I will not be afraid of you anymore. I will never follow your words again.
Mary, do you think that old man can help you defeat me? I will devour your soul, and you will belong to me forever. You will never live in peace, Mary. I will haunt you for life.
The demon has vanished. It's all over now, Mary.
From that moment on, Mary never dared to look in the mirror again. Although the demon had disappeared, the fear would probably follow her for the rest of her life. After this story, I hope you will be careful with old mirrors because they might be holding a demon's soul.
I never used to believe in ghosts, but that no longer mattered after what I had experienced. Hello, my name is Doris. I am 25 years old, and the story I am about to tell has haunted me ever since. Back then, my mother fell seriously ill and had to be hospitalized. Worried about her, I stayed at the hospital to take care of her. She was placed in an old room at the end of the hallway. The doctors didn't want her to stay there, but the hospital had run out of rooms. I didn't think much of it. After all, every hospital had old rooms, didn't they? But on the very first night I stayed, I began to feel that something was wrong. As I was about to close my eyes, a strange sound came from the bathroom. At first, it was just a light movement, as if someone inside was trying to open the door. But then, it turned faster, stronger, until the door burst open with a loud click. I swallowed hard and stepped forward to check. There was no sign that anyone had just been in there. Shaking my head, I told myself that I was just too tired and imagining things. But just as I turned away, a sob echoed. A faint, mournful sound that sent chills down my spine. It came from the very same bathroom. My heart pounded as I looked back inside. Yet there was no one there. When I glanced at the mirror above the sink, I saw a child. Pale skin, hollow eyes, weeping blood. Suddenly, a chorus of laughter rang out, filling the room as if dozens of children were laughing at once. I stumbled back, my heart racing, and hastily flipped the light switch. The boy and the laughter vanished. At that moment, the door to the room swung open. A pregnant nurse walked in to check my mother's temperature. She was thin, her face pale, and her uniform looked worn as if it had been used for a long time. I glanced at the clock on the wall, feeling strange. Wasn't it too late for rounds? The nurse smiled gently and said,
Hello, I'm here to check the patient's temperature.
I returned her smile and asked, I see, but you're still working this late? She smiled again.
It's our responsibility after all.
As she took my mother's temperature, she told me a story about this room. She said that about 10 years ago, a nurse had secretly aborted her child in that very bathroom. Overcome with guilt, she had jumped out of the window. Her body was found in the parking lot the next morning. Hearing this, I immediately told her about what I had seen earlier in the bathroom. She listened, then smiled and said,
Perhaps the boy was the spirit of the unborn child.
I quickly asked, How do you know that? She chuckled and said,
I made it up.
With that, she left the room, leaving me in suffocating silence. Just then, I noticed a drop of blood slowly trailing down her leg. Panicked, I rushed to the door, intending to call her back, but the hallway was empty. Not a soul, not a single sound. I stood frozen, a chill creeping down my spine, making the hairs on my neck stand on end. When I returned to the room, my mother was fast asleep. I lay down on my bed, but no matter how much I tried, I couldn't sleep. The night dragged on, each tiny noise making me jump until I finally saw the first light of dawn. When the doctor came to check on my mother, I told him everything that had happened the night before. He listened, his eyes thoughtful but not surprised. Then he said slowly,
There have been many rumors about this room, but there is no pregnant nurse working at our hospital.
My chest tightened, my mind swirling with confusion. Then who was she? A shiver ran through me. Could she have been the nurse who had aborted her child and jumped from the window? The following days, everything seemed to return to normal until my mother was discharged. As I helped her out of the room, I instinctively turned back, and I saw the nurse standing by the window, holding a baby in her arms. Panicked, I rubbed my eyes, but when I looked again, she was gone, as if she had never been there.
I grew up in a wealthy family, with both my parents being successful entrepreneurs. However, a tragedy struck, and I lost everything. My mother passed away in an accident, but less than 2 months later, my father married a woman named Lisa. At first, Lisa appeared to be a gentle and caring woman, always trying to win my father's favor. But whenever it was just the two of us, her gaze was always filled with resentment when she looked at me. One day, as I was walking down the hallway, I accidentally overheard her talking to someone on the phone.
I have to get rid of that boy, Daniel, first. He could interfere with my plans.
I felt my heart stop, a wave of fear spreading through me. Why would she want to do this to me? I immediately told my father, but he said I must have misheard and was imagining things. His reaction left me feeling disappointed, as if my fears didn't matter at all. With no one to confide in, I went to find my cat, but I was horrified to see it lying motionless in the basement. I froze in shock and rushed to its side. There was a deep cut on its neck, almost severing its head. Suddenly, a rope tightened around my neck, pulling so hard that my lungs felt like they were on fire.
I will make you disappear.
I struggled desperately, but the rope only tightened further, making me feel dizzy. With all the strength I had left, I threw my head back, striking Lisa's stomach. She stumbled backward, loosening her grip just enough. Taking the chance, I quickly pulled the rope off my neck and turned to glare at Lisa in anger.
What are you doing? Why are you doing this to me?
You've been in my way for too long. I don't want to see you anymore.
You were the one who killed my cat?
That's right. And not just the cat, you're next.
With that, she lunged at me, grabbing my throat and slamming me against the wall. Her fingers tightened around my neck, cutting off my air. My breaths became short and ragged. Clenching my fist, I used all my strength to punch her directly in the eye. She cried out in pain and loosened her grip. Seizing the opportunity, I kicked her away and lunged for a hammer on the nearby shelf.
Stop! Don't come any closer!
Lisa pulled out a knife from her pocket and charged at me like a wild beast. Panicked, I instinctively raised the hammer and swung it down on her head. Terrified, I let go of the hammer, my legs shaking as I stared at her motionless body.
Daniel, what have you done?
I didn't mean to. She wanted to harm me?
Shut up. Lisa could never have harmed you.
I watched him in despair. No matter how much I explained, he wouldn't believe me. Lisa died on the way to the hospital, and my father, without hesitation, handed me over to the police. After investigating, the police found messages between Lisa and her lover, plotting to harm my father and me for our wealth. Lisa secretly poisoned my father's daily milk and then planned to get rid of me to secure the inheritance. This poison had a slow effect, gradually weakening the body over time without arousing suspicion. When my father learned the truth, he was devastated, blaming himself for being so blindly trusting. As for me, even though I was cleared of all charges, the wounds in my heart never healed. They remained embedded in my mind like an endless, haunting nightmare.